Hi, I'm Terry Brock. Hey, you know, attitude is everything. My buddy Keith Harrell talks about that in his book with the same title. And attitude really is critical in relationship marketing. When you're building those relationships, it's very important to have the right attitude. Too often people think that life is really up to outside forces. Hey, it's the price of gas, and recently we've seen that as it gets higher and higher, it seems like every day. And we see people are blaming the price of gas or the price of the economy, or there's this problem here or that problem, or it's this politician or that politician. And really, that doesn't square with reality, and it doesn't square with history. Throughout history, we've seen that there have been times when things aren't as tough. But the real key is not who's in office. The real key is what's in your head. Your attitude is what changes everything. See, it's really up to us. You start that attitude with the right way of looking at people and the right way of dealing with people, and the world opens up to you. Think about it. Unless you're independently wealthy right now, your money that you're going to get in the future is coming from other people. And unless you use violence or force, which I don't recommend at all, you're going to have to get that through persuasion. You're going to have to show people how it's in their best interest to do business with you. Show them a way to do it. Well, that's starting with attitude. Now, some people will say, well, that attitude stuff, that isn't it. Positive thinking, it doesn't work. Well, they're partially right. Yeah, they are. Because attitude alone won't do it. You can't just have attitude. I was talking to a friend this week and mentioning to her that attitude is much like the gas of the car. You know, you got to have gas to go somewhere in the car, but you need more than gas. You got to make sure the tires are right, make sure all the things are functioning well in that car. You got to have a right plan, be able to adapt and change, things like that. All of that is important. Well, interesting that this week, just yesterday, matter of fact, I had lunch with my buddy Keith Harrell, who is well known for his subject about attitude is everything. And matter of fact, Keith lives right across the lake from me over there here in Orlando. So we got together at one of our favorite Chinese places and had a great time. And while we were there, got a chance to listen to Keith and some of his wisdom. Listen to what he had to say about attitude and how it can help you. And I'll be right back. Well, you know, the attitude is very important. It's an important part of relationships. When you're working with building your relationships in business, you've got to have the right attitude. It's the core foundation. And who better to tell us about that than Dr. Attitude himself, Keith Harrell. We're here in a Chinese restaurant here in Orlando. Had a great meal, and my buddy Keith Harrell joined us. Keith, thanks for being with us.
Well, thanks for the opportunity, Coach.
Well, it's really good to know that the things you can do with attitude really affect everything. You talk about that with attitude is everything in your world. What core principles are there with attitude that helps in relationships in business?
Well, you know the 3 R's of business: relationships, relationships, relationships.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Those are very important.
When you think of attitude, it's a feeling, it's a mood, it's a mindset. I've got a one-word definition: life.
Yeah.
And that's what relationships are. See, your attitude truly is a control center for your life, but it's your heart that's the control center for your attitude. All relationships are built on the heart. It's the foundation. So if you can guard your heart, you can tune up your attitude, you can improve your relationships.
How do you do that in a situation where somebody maybe in a tough time economically, they're going, I don't know, we got to get it better over this, or they're treating you in a way you just don't feel really honored. You don't feel like they're honored. What kind of attitude can you take to turn that around and build a better relationship in business?
Well, you think about it. Anytime somebody's going through something difficult, you got to get to the root before you can get to the fruit.
Yeah.
And typically if I'm stressed out, if I'm going through change, or if I have low self-esteem, those could all be the root of why I'm behaving a certain way. But if you think about it, if you can guard your ear gate, if you can guard your eye gate, if you can guard your mouth gate, you can guard your heart. And over time, love is the key. And if you just keep sowing love and sharing love and understand that person's going through something, you might be the only light they see, but you're making a mark that can never be erased.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. So you're seeing it from their point of view.
Yes.
Yeah. That makes sense. Well, Keith, you have helped millions of people, I think literally millions of people, in the work that you do with your books, your speeches. If someone wanted to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Call my mother.
Call your mother.
No, they can go to my website, keithharrell.com.
And how do you spell that?
KEITHHARRELL.com.
All right. Great. Well, Keith, thank you very much for joining us, and nice to be here in Orlando, our hometown here together. As a matter of fact, we live right across the lake from each other.
Well, you are my coach, and you keep coaching me. It's all about relationships.
That's right, it is. Well, Keith, thanks for joining us today.
Have a super fantastic day.
Hey, and isn't that great? Keith really knows how to nail it. It's really up to us. I love what he said, particularly about your ear gate, your eye gate. You've got to control what comes in. I love the way that one of the better Roman emperors, Marcus Aurelius, said it here when he said that if you're distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. You are in control. See, it's good news and bad news. You can't blame it on somebody else. I guess that's the bad news if you want to blame it on somebody. But the good news is you're in control, and it's up to you. Find out what is right. Find out what's right about a situation. Napoleon Hill talked to us about that in his book, Think and Grow Rich. People that would say, well, attitude isn't everything, you can't do it. Well, again, I'd say they're partially right. Napoleon Hill had that definiteness of purposeness and positive mental attitude. Those were two of the principles that are there. If you have only those two, you're not going to go very far. You've got to have the others that are there as well. If you haven't read Think and Grow Rich lately, go back and read that. It's really important. And as you implement these things in your life, no matter what happens with the price of gas, with the economy, with other things, you can always be in control of your attitude. We know that that is true. Viktor Frankl told us about it in Man's Search for Meaning. We can control our attitude no matter what happens to us. And as we do that and think positively, think creatively, we'll be able to overcome whatever comes our way and basically whatever the economy says. Hey, and a way to find out about that in a practical way, not just with the motivation, but motivation and practical, realistic ways you can implement that and make your business work is through the online coaching program that I have. It's available and it's priced very affordably. So find out about that. Just go over to terrybrock.com and click on that button over on the right for coaching program, and you'll find out about it. And if you'd like, drop me an email. I'd love to hear from you. terry@terrybrock.com. Hey, hope you have a great day, and I'll be looking forward to hearing from you. And get out there and watch that attitude. Make sure it stays positive no matter what, and implement the other things that are necessary with a positive attitude. See you around the shop.